Good morning, everyone. This is Biz Chicks TV. This is the place where you can find tips and tools to help you do business better. We're here to help you run a profitable business that's fun to run and to take the hassle out of your hustle. And today we're here with our money mindset coach, Miss Caren Fern, all the way from Toronto, Canada. And I'm Tara Lena from California Cover Ups. And my partner, Miss Francine Gregory, is operating in the background, keeping us everywhere we need to be on the web. And today we are just going to get down and get dirty with interesting facts that will help us make more money. We're talking sales today, people. Get a pen because Coach Caren is in the house. Hi, Coach.
Hi, Terry. We want it. We want it. We want to make sales. We want to get rich. We want to have enough money to pay our bills. We want to not have to worry about one thing out of our lives is how to provide for ourselves and family. And if we don't have a job and we're in business, we want to make sales. And even if we have a job and we're in business, we want to make sales. And this is a taboo topic. Some people say, I don't like sell. Don't tell me about selling. But you got to sell. No matter if you sell conversationally, no matter how you sell, you got to sell if you're in business. And you got to just sell. You got to just sell. You're not going to be successful without it. I was checking somebody's stuff last evening, and we were just going over the difference between the money they make in business and the salary they were making. And the salary, when tax come out of it, they're like, that's why Karen have to have this side gig. Because without it, when we look at the numbers, she would not be able to keep afloat. She would not be able to pay her bills and not have heart palpitation every paycheck. The amount of the salary was good.
Heart palpitation.
The salary is great, but the amount of taxes and EI and when everything come out, because she is forced with me to look through her actual pay stub, which is something she said I don't care to do.
You know, they used to have a program called Beat the Clock. You know, beat the clock. See if you can get everything done before the end of the month, before you need more money. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you have to. So it's either get more overtime at work or get a part-time job. But if you want to be really focused and really thinking forward, you understand the minute you get a second job or you work overtime, you're paying more taxes or not enough taxes. And then because the part-time job might not feel they can take out as much tax for you. And next thing you know, you're owing the government at the end of the year and you was just tired and worn out and you really don't have a lot to show for it. So that was the conversation. We laughed. Some tears were shed. Some disappointments were seen. But guess what? It's up to her face. She knows it's there and it's only upward from there. The hard stuff, majority of the hard stuff is done. But the majority of hard stuff is done. She finally looked at it. She finally understood. She finally understand. Also, one of the things we discussed was compound interest and understanding that when you make the less money over here and you don't have the bulk to invest over there, how many years has passed when that would have been able to compound, and here's where you would have been. So that was the shining light for her to see. It wasn't even anything big that she needed to invest in these simple things that could just make more sense, in 3 years, in 5 years, versus if you're just putting in X amount of dollars. So that was a sweet one. Just give you a little top of why this is so important for you to think about and not be afraid of it. Just embrace it. It's going to be fearful. It's going to be hard initially. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you, but you're going to get with it. So I've got this little quote from like Sirhan, the millionaire listing guy. And he says, the secret to your success will be revealed in hindsight. This is so true. You won't recognize it until you've already lived it. I'm going to repeat that quote. The secret to your success will be revealed in hindsight. You won't recognize it until you've already lived it. And that's why answering the question about being successful, do you want to do it so hard for a lot of people? Because if you haven't lived it yet, part of you want to say what you think you should say, but part of you are doubting what you said. Because if you haven't lived certain things yet, it's just hard to recognize and be able to be clear on it. So don't feel no way. It's just what happens, just how life works. So today we're going to cover 3 things. We're going to ask questions, I'm going to answer them, and we're going to cover a few things. So how do you know you're successful in your business? That's one of the things we need to talk about. Because if we don't feel we're successful in our business, we don't want to continue doing it. That's just, nobody want to say this, but it's just the truth. Okay. What needs to be put in place to grow your business? Sales. Hint, hint, sales. I know it's not the only thing, but that's the topic we're touching on today. And number 3, we're going to talk about, so to be great in your business, what is the 2 main things you have to focus on? And then I'll talk in a little bit about on it. So Terry, are you ready?
I think so. Okay, here we go. Okay, I put the question up. How do you know you're successful in your business?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right on. So let me answer that question. When you, and I'm going to say this little thing before I dig into it. When you say, I'm happy in my business, I don't care if I make any money, I'm okay because I'm working in my passion, you are probably 55% right for the first 90 days, maybe even 180 days. But you will soon learn, or life will soon visit you and say to you, you are a liar because the light just went and you can't sew. You couldn't pay that bill. Or, your landlord is saying your hair's, a letter came to the door, to the apartment door, and you're 2 months behind with whatever fee attached to it. Because you're busy in your working in your passion, if this is all you do. And I'm saying this, and sometimes people don't want to hear it, but these are the things I have to speak on so you could understand what I mean when I say you have to make sales in your business. That also means your confidence start breaking down. You start feeling really lousy and you start thinking this business is not for you. You keep thinking maybe I need a new business, tap into another passion. But because you haven't really looked into what happened initially, you will repeat the same thing again. Over and over. I'll tell you a little story, quick little story. We were living in an apartment. So rent a house with my dad, and he wanted to sell that particular property, and we moved into an apartment, first apartment, and we were served with a letter. It wasn't our letter, it came to the wrong apartment, but it didn't matter. I know how my heart felt when I opened the letter saying that we were 3 months behind and all this topped interest on it, and then parking that we didn't pay for. And I was freaking out. I showed to my husband, we were freaking out. He was like, well, I'm the one that delivered the checks. So he was just going berserk in his head. He's like, I know that I give it to them. Matter of fact, anyway. He had to go to work. I went to the office. I got there. The amount of people, this is the other part of the story. The amount of people that was in the main office complaining about back checks and what have you, it was crazy. So there's a whole bunch of mix up, some kind of clerical error that happened and had people in the office. But there also were people in there who this was their reality. That's what I recognized, because when I was telling the secretary and talking to her, she's like, Caren, I know you're mad, and I could see up here on the screen, you're going to get to speak to somebody. Don't worry about it. But there's people, this is their reality. Okay? They actually have to come in and pay it. If not, they're not going to be here longer. So could you imagine if that was our reality? We've had 2 kids at the time. I was pregnant with my 3rd child. That would not have been a good reality for me. That would not have been a good place. And so if you had a job and you lost your job, that's the reason some people are in this reality. Let's not kid ourselves. It's not only business, right? And sometimes it's because some people are in business, but they are not selling in their business, or they're not selling enough in their business.
Okay.
And you can't be afraid of that. Here's the other selling part. If you lost your job, you now have to go and sell yourself for the new job. And some people get really disappointed when they lose their job. And they're like waiting for EI in Canada anyway. And they get it, but EI don't kick in lots of time till 10 months, till a month later. Some people 6 weeks later.
Is that like unemployment here?
Unemployment, yes.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Unemployment. Yes, sorry, unemployment.
No, it's okay. I just needed to know.
Yes. And some people don't kick in, and some people don't have a cushion. So in that meantime, I remember after I had my son, I had a discrepancy. It took them 2 months for me to even get my money, because I was working for a really substantial salary, and the girl in the office had attitude with me. And unbeknownst to me, she didn't push through my paperwork. So
Mm.
I wasn't getting my money. I had to go through welfare and a whole bunch of things. There is people who is nasty, okay?
Which is another reason why you need to be nice even when you're upset with people,
Right?
because they have the capacity to do some interesting things with your stuff. Okay?
And
They
you
push
can't
the
prove it because you're not in the office.
they push the wrong button and it's just a whirlwind. Go ahead.
So all these things has to say, even though I'm talking about sales, I want you to understand the whole scenario in it. I want you to see how vital it is. I want you to see how when you don't sell in your business, you are not going to be able to go forward with yourself, with your business. And what happens when you can't go forward? You lose your confidence. You lose that joy. You lose, if you will, you already don't lose your passion, but you feel like you start losing it because
Hmm.
worry take over, your brain,
Mm.
and your mind is not able to do what it's supposed to do anymore. So you got to sell. I don't care how subtle you sell. I don't care if you're not a big seller, like, if you're not an extrovert like I am, you have to find your way and your voice so that
Hmm.
you can be successful in your business. And the bottom line is you can market all you like. You have to eventually sell because once you market, you're marketing to people, but you don't close sales by marketing. You have to close the sale. And whether it's a telephone call, whether it's an inbox, an email, or whether it's a sales page, you have to be able to present it so that people know this is how they can buy. They're the silent buyers. There's the people who say nothing on Facebook, on nothing. I was in this program and this girl seeked me out, and I was, I guess, busy talking alive like this. And I'd never seen her. And all of a sudden she says, I heard you talk about X, Y, and Z. Can I talk with you? And I was like, okay. And you are, because I've never interacted with this woman. And then when she realized I was in Canada, like she was, she became a in-person coaching client because she hated online and she wanted to coach in person. I got
Hmm.
her from online and I never met her before.
Hmm.
But she'd seen me, she had talked to me, and if when she reached out to me, I didn't answer her back, I would have lost a really good client. Some people quietly look at things. So that's why you have to keep presenting, you have to keep speaking, you have to
Hmm.
keep making sure that you have the steps that they can follow, especially for those people who are introverts, really a double introvert, she calls herself, which means it takes her a long time to talk to people, but she
Hmm.
has to probably see you several times, start, growing to like and trust you. And then when she reach out to you, if you don't respond back, she takes it personally because she was just that type of a person. You never know. So you have to have your set up so that people can be able to reach out to you. And then you got to make sure you get back to them. Don't have them waiting around. Even if you can't do anything about it, you say, in the next 48 hours, I'll touch base, or in the next 72 hours.
Hmm.
Or let them know that you heard, you've seen, and then you're
Hmm.
not ignoring them. That's very, very important these days. And you know you're successful in sales because you are looking at your numbers. You
Hmm.
know how many units you need to be sold every week, every month to be able to be successful. You know your material costs if it's a product. You know your labor costs if it's a product. You know your employee or your whoever you're contracting out to cost. You need to know all those things, and you need to know how much you're paying yourself. What is your salary? With your dividend you take out to your business, whatever, however you decide to set up the business, you need to know that cost to see your successes in your business. And as a service-based business, you need to know those things too because you still need labor costs because you spend time creating content. You're
Hmm.
the admin of the business. It is hard to hire out and delegate out things when you don't know how much your business is making to be able to pay those things. So if you are, and this is what I like to say, maybe I'm going against the grain here, but everybody says hire it out, hire it out. But don't you dare hire anything out unless you spend time with it and seeing it, unless it's something you really can't do, making sure that you know the time it takes and how much your business can afford it to be paid out. This is important stuff. So admin stuff, go learn some admin stuff and do it. You don't need to do the whole realm, but enough to get an idea of how much it's going to cost your business to hire a VA, so that you have something to tell them. VAs and miracle workers are magic pills, you know.
Yes, I think that this is a real concern when people are trying to hire personal assistants or virtual assistants because they really don't know what they need. And so they spend a lot of time paying people to do nothing because they're on retainer, but you haven't figured out what it is you want them to do. You need to know what pieces of the business you want to assign to them. And what I hear you saying is the way to find that out is by doing the task yourself and setting a timer to just simply see how long it takes. Because if you're paying your virtual assistant hourly, then you know, okay, that takes me 2 hours. She's supposed to be a little more proficient. Maybe it'll take her 90 minutes
Exactly.
at the most.
Right. Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
Got you.
Yes. Yes. You want to know those things. And keep in mind, here's the other thing I like to tell my clients to do is, you know, if it do take you 2 hours and it take her 90 minutes, you can take that extra few pennies and have it as cash flow into your business. You don't have to give it another task immediately. You can keep it as cash flow so that the businesses keep turning around and doing what it needs to be done, you know? Don't feel afraid. Don't feel like you have to have an assistant if your business is not ready yet for it. A business really and truly can run with one person efficiently if you understand how to use your time efficiently. For a good year, I think, before you hire it out, unless it's high pressured, unless it's you making millions of dollars within 6 months and that sort of stuff. And when somebody says to me, I made $1 million in 6 months, I know that they've been in business long, longevity. Now, the 6 months is this year, but they're not telling me about the 10 or 20 years or how many years, you know, they've been doing whatever they've been doing. They're just doing a snapshot, and they said to me, 6 months, I make $1 million. So I understand that from an inventor to anybody who did anything. You know, it takes time. I used to know a guy who made chairs, and he made chairs for salon, and he made chairs, and you see him, he used to do very well. I haven't seen him in a while. But, you know, he talks about when he started making chairs and the kind of wood he would use, and it wasn't good, and people would fall off the chair, and the chair wouldn't, you know, and all the troubles and struggles he had with chairs and building that he would be renting, and he can't pay the rent, and they kick him out with all his wood and equipment because he didn't understand how to do all this stuff. He said, fast forward, he met his wife, and she cleaned things up. He said to him, you're not running the business, you're just building chairs. You're going crazy. You know nothing, you know. And together they turned it around and turned into one of the go-to people. If you were opening a salon in Canada, you went to him for your chairs. But it took years to get him there. Took him years, right? So
I think this is an ongoing concern for people who decide, oh, I'm going to go in business, and they have no business background. Where do I get the help to run the business? Because I'm really the creative.
Yes.
Let's say you want to sell, I don't know, popsicles, and you're really good at you're really good at making popsicles and selling popsicles. But then when you get back, you take the money and you put it in your pocket instead of figuring out, and you don't even add it up. You just know you made some money today.
Exactly.
This is an ongoing problem.
It is. It is a big, big problem.
So what do you suggest in a case like that? Because we have a lot of people who are doing things like shifting careers. They're at different stages in their life, and they really don't know what to do. They're making money, but they're not running a business.
They're not running a business. I'm glad you asked that question, because only this morning I was answering that question in my head. I said, what is my free group is going to really do for people? Because I asked the question before, but it was because I'm answering some other questions, this was so important for me. And I said, the thing that my group is going to do is give people that base, whether it's from my YouTube channel that I bring over there, units, where if you're starting out from the ground up and you know nothing, because a lot of books are out there for you to go read, but if you don't understand, it's still hard for you to do, because you finish reading the book and you put it down, you're like, what should I do now? What I want to make sure that I'm offering is not only lives like this and teaching masterclass in the group, but also And I try. I do that here when I come to the district. I make sure I am making things very plain and just
Because
straightforward.
we don't like convoluted crap. That is our
Exactly.
motto.
None of that nonsense. We're just telling you as it is, the truth, the plain old truth. And just to
Hmm.
showcase the people, and it wouldn't be long things, maybe 3 or 5 videos saying, here is the first things you do. Here's the basic of what you do. Anything else that you go and you pay for at my school. But here's the basic what you do. Because so many entrepreneurs, so many side hustlers and full-time hustlers are not running businesses necessarily. They're hustling. So the money seems great. So when now they have to actually structurize their business in terms of
Hmm.
understanding where everything has to go, they notice that I've had this happen with people that their business never made any money. It
Mm.
appeared like it was making money, but it never really made any money. That's why
Well,
they had no money to turn over and do or expand. That's why they stayed where they were because it never made any money.
well, Claudia has a comment here, Coach. She said, I worked for Walgreens for 6 years. That's a drugstore,
Yes.
pharmacy. Before I began my business, I watched their practices and import them in mine. And that's the beauty of working for someone else. If you pay attention, it's really a paid internship.
Thank you. I say this to people all the time. Like, take what
Oh,
you need.
mm-hmm.
Take what you need, document it, implement it. Don't only document it, implement it little by little so that when you move from where you have to go, wherever you're moving from, you're able to do well. And don't leave before you're ready. Don't fear
Mm-hmm.
being forced to move. You see,
Mm-hmm.
God is saying 6 years because it
Mm-hmm.
takes time to learn certain things. There's this no overnight thing. You know?
She has another comment here that
Mhm.
says, don't be afraid to ask questions while you're working your 9 to 5.
Exactly, Claudia. You're so
Morning,
on
Brenna.
point. Good morning,
Mhm.
Brenna. It is so important to ask questions. People used to laugh at me when I ask questions. They say, "Well, why would you ask such a question? Don't you feel silly?" I'm like, well, I'm really feeling stupid because I don't know the answer anyway. So asking the question don't make me feel silly. I'm in a new place. I just moved to
Mhm.
North America. There's so many strange things to me. You bet you I'm gonna ask people. I don't care who you are, I'm gonna find out why this is what is what, because I don't know. I'm not
Mhm.
gonna pretend I know. I don't know. And I'm always learning. When I used to run a daycare with a friend of mine, she used to always say, Karen, one of the things I love about you, you're like a kid. And don't take this the wrong way, but you're always so excited to learn new stuff and you so because we had a lot of materials to learn. I was studying while we run the daycare, how to run a daycare profitably. I was taking the management course, business course, and I was in the program and I was doing it. So we had all these wonderful experiments that I could teach the kids, but I get to play with it first. So my homework was into my homework. I don't know people go to school and don't like it. I was into my homework, and my friend used to be laughing at me, right? She's a child psychologist, and she would be dying. I'm like, get into your studies and you'll be fine. And I
Yes.
bring joy to kids. It brought joy to my heart. So our daycare was when we did our first advertisement. After that, we really were just referral based. People just heard about
Mhm.
how great the kids were having a good time, how learning was fun, and people just recommend people to us. So yeah, you got to know what's going on in your business. You have to sell in your business. That's how you do have a growing business. And number two is what needs to be put in place to grow your business. Because it's one thing to start it, set up the framework, know what has to happen. But this laziness come upon us, and this we go through a part in business once we're over the excitement and over that we can run a business, or we are the owner, the CEO, whatever you want to call yourself in your business. And then we go through this sludge period where we are not sure where it goes from here. I really encourage you to spend that time before you even open to find out if it's a business you want to sell, a business you want to grow, a business you want to pass on to your family. Like, even if you can't answer all the questions before you open, you need to continuously investigate what needs to happen. And the reason you need to do that, so you need to understand what direction you're growing the business in. and that dictates the sales and the behavior and the documentation and the training.
Mm-hmm.
All these things become so much more important. And I'm not saying if you're not going to sell the business, you shouldn't have training in place. I'm saying that it forces you to do it more sooner than later. That's what it does. It forces you to do it
Mm-hmm.
sooner than
So the second question was, what's needed to grow your business?
later. What
Did
needs
I?
to be put in place to grow your business? What's the thing
Mm-hmm.
put in place
Okay.
to grow your business? And that's training. We talk about money, initially, so you need to know the money part for sure. That's training. What it costs to run the business, what it costs to train somebody, to hire and train. It's a cost to hire and train, because if you hire somebody and it takes 2 weeks or 3 weeks to train them, you're training them and they're not really being productive in your company. And so you lose time, or you and the trainer lose time, and you'll notice a lot of time get lost in other parts of the business, especially if it's young. Once things are set in place, you still lose, but you don't lose as much because
Mm-hmm.
there's more structure there. So then it's a little different. But when you're starting out, you want to know all these things, and you want to write down all the things that you training yourself, because don't make a mistake with this thing. You are training yourself when you start a business. You have to train yourself. I used to always call myself the marketing and sales rep in my business. I never really called myself the owner or the CEO. And the reason I was the marketing and sales rep is because I have to go bring in business. So that's who I am. That's who you're talking
Mm-hmm.
to. When I look at myself that way versus like the owner, then everything about building the business belongs to me. And I have to be, forefront, and I have to get it done. If I don't sell, I wouldn't sell. And then, so when I bring in people now to do sales, I can train them
Mm-hmm.
into doing what I do, and they could take some of that off of me. So you need to know what needs to be in place to grow your business, whatever business you have. Even if you're having a business where, like my friend used to sell candles, and she did the party things and she would sell candle. And I said to her, if this is going to be your business, you can't just depend on the company and the person who's in charge of you. No, 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 no. You have to grow this business differently, because you're going to be successful more than any rep if you're growing this business, understanding that it's your business and what happens, or,
Mm-hmm.
what needs to take place and how you grow. Because you can't get to make an excuse that a person didn't show up or this didn't happen, because now it's your business. And she saw a difference when she started looking at it as her business rather than just I'm selling candles for this company. So you want to think about that. Number
And
three is, where are we?
take
Number
ownership.
is, yes, take ownership. Have to take ownership. I should ask, is there any questions before I wrap it on? I get all excited, guys.
No, we don't have any questions over here
Okay.
in the comments, but guys, if you have a question, just put it up there and we'll make sure Coach Caren sees it. Go ahead.
And number three is to be great in business and sales, one needs to know their mission. Two things I say: their mission and vision. To
Mm-hmm.
look forward to an excellent outcome. You need to know what's your mission. What is your mission in life? You should do that for your personal gain. But what's your mission for this business? How are you going to serve? Whom you're serving, and all that stuff come under your mission. And the vision is the vision you have for the business. And you need to know those two things. And they change over time. And you got to go in and tweak them. But it's okay. You need to know those things. I've spoken on them in length at the Biz Chick several times on Blog, on Fire Talk, and I think even here, because it's so, so important. If you don't have a vision for the business, every time somebody gives you an idea or you see something new, you're going to click over to that. And that wouldn't be your vision for your business. But you can stand firm and understand this is the vision I've seen for my business. I'm going to see it through, even when it feels like it's going sideways. I'm going to have faith. I'm going to trust in the Lord. I pray about this. This is what He presented to me. He told me I can do it, and I'm going to work off of this vision. And what is the mission? Be very firm. Be very firm. I say you're going to tweak it. Yes, you will. But you wouldn't be transported into space. And I don't know what I'm going to do in my business if you had those things in place, because then you go back to them. You say, well, what was my mission? Why did I start this business? What did I want to see happen? What's my vision? And you write it out. Vision boards are part of this stuff. I told somebody a long time ago, vision boards has been around forever and ever. And it's been done in so many different shapes and forms. And one of the things about vision boards, little kids do vision boards all the time. We don't realize that they're doing vision boards because it's not how we set it up. Kids who put poster years ago on their walls, who put up stuff anywhere, is you enticing and being present in your vision. That's what it does for you. That's what it keeps propelling you forward too. I remember when I was a singer and I had to learn words for a song. I would write it out several times. It'll be up there. When I look up from my bed, I can see the words. I'll be humming it, making sure I'm practicing those words. And I would see myself over time on the stage. I remember when I wanted to be the lead singer, they had a girl, we were in competition. Her and I was neck to neck in competition to get to be the lead singer. And I was letting it go. I was in front of that choir. Nobody else was standing there next to me. We were in there. We were doing it. And I was the lead singer. I was not moving from that vision. I was the lead singer. And I got there and I was singing, teacher said, she says, well, it's you and Esther. So it's you and Esther. So I guess you guys gonna have to do a duet. And in my head, I was like, no, sorry. Caren is the lead singer. I keep saying it. I keep seeing myself. I don't know what happened, but the girl's throat started to. I was moving from my vision.
That is too funny.
Did I not get to sing? You bet you.
Fight fear with a plan. Okay. That is too funny.
You gotta see. You gotta see. You can't move.
Ooh, well, I'm going to type that right here. Don't move from your vision. Okay.
Even when you can't see to the end, even when it doesn't seem like it's going to work. Oh my God, there's just so much reference in my life where I know and I seek and I see it, I visualize, I wouldn't move from it. And I watch it happen. And every fiber, every beat inside of me is doubting me and wanting me to conclude that it's right. And I stand firm that it's not right. It's what I've said. What I have faith and trust in is going to be, and I will know. Watch it come to fruition. So this month we are talking about sales. Last week we spoke on the effects and how it affects your mind and how it makes you feel like you don't want to do it. But anything that you don't want to do, those are the things that you must do. If you've never seen the movie The Crooks or something like that, it's a kid movie. But they were going through all sort of stuff, and when they went over to the other side of where they never want to go to, their fear, how beautiful it was compared to where they were. But where they were was the comfort zone. And wherever you are, if you're feeling so comfortable that you want to pull the covers over and just dive in deeper, get up, wash your face, clap yourself awake, and get moving. That's not where you want to be. You want to get up and move. You want to get up and truly move. And this week we covered, how to really explain to yourself, first of all, why you're successful in business, the numbers, the behavior, your activity, what you're doing, how are you bringing in new sales every month or every quarter, your sales. Get a sales board like if you're in an office. And it doesn't matter if you have nowhere to have an office. That's the other part. If you're in a tiny place and you have nowhere to have an office, when you do take up your laptop, when you do go to your dining table or you're sitting on your couch, at that moment, take out whatever vision you have for your business and place it there. Let it be next to you so you're one with it. The reason I want you to have it not only on your computer is because when it's present, when it's physical, you can keep doing your work on your computer and you're not going back to find it. You can raise up your head and watch it. You can look over on the wall and see it. Wherever you can position it. Space is not an issue. I come from living in a tiny, tiny place. Space is not an issue, okay? You put things where you need to put it so it can get you to where you need to get you. So you put it out there and you say to yourself, this is the amount of sales I have to make this month. If I wait until the last 2 weeks for the month, then I'll have to do all the sales then. But if I space it out every week, 2 sales every week, then at the end of the month, I'll have my 8 sales. If it's 3 sales a week, at the end of the month, I'll have my 12 sales and be okay with the 12 sales because you know that if you put in the work and the productivity is right, you're going to double it. And then you're going to double it. You're going to watch your sales board because those diagrams that people hate, all it's there telling you how you're doing. You're up or you're down. You're in between. That's all that is. You can draw those for yourself. It's not hard. It just
Mm-hmm.
looks hard. But you get to watch yourself and you get to watch yourself, your sales, and you get to document your sales. There's nothing like documenting your sales. So that when yourself say to you that you're not doing well, you just pull up the paper and you're like, you mean like this? All right. That's my sales. So you can tell yourself, I did well in my sales. So you can know this. You need to put things in place to grow your business. You need to stay on course. You need to got your vision and your mission in mind as you grow your business. And people,
Mm.
you gotta sell.
You got to sell. All right. Thank you so much, Coach.
Oh, you
I think so many times we go into business, and when we are a creative, we tend not to understand all the background things, and as a result, we get discouraged because we don't understand the administrative side of business. And it doesn't have to be complicated from what you're telling us. It just needs to be done.
yes. That's the part. It just needs to be done. Do not estimate somebody you see at a craft fair that might be selling, let's say, letters ABC. If they're doing well, they've put in a lot of background work that you can't even begin to imagine. And I know such a person. All she did was on a piece of cotton, she wrote the alphabet. She embroidered it on a machine, of course. And when you have a baby, you can buy the ABCs from her, and it's fringed at the edges, and she make banners and all sorts of stuff. It's very simple, simplistic,
Mhm.
and very just nice and calm in the colors she used. And it's just so simple that you wouldn't think it's a lot of work. But in her dad's garage, because she was a young girl, she spent a lot of time looking after that business. So when she do go to craft fairs and she pick the ones that make sense for her, when she do show up, she have a following. People are looking for her. She has real discussions with you. You can talk to her about design, even though she doesn't design, but placement and that sort of thing. She needed to educate herself around nurseries and babies and toddlers because that's her product line. That's the
Mm-hmm.
product line. And so you got to do some work that not directly related to you, but gonna relate in some shape or form to grow your business. You got to sell. She couldn't just stand there either. She has to sell. She has to open her mouth. She has to talk. We gotta. And that's what I got for you today.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Coach. I think it's just difficult. Well, not difficult. I think it's different for us to look at our business from the point of an administrative view versus, just selling something to people. There is a science to this, and there's a method to the madness, as my mother used to say.
We're gonna do
So,
before the month done. We'll do a little bit of methodology and a little bit of role play and stuff. We got 2 weeks left, so I'll do a little bit of that and case study just so I can show a couple of steps.
some application. So, if they're looking for you on the web, where can they find you, Coach?
You can find me. You can come join my group, the Entrepreneurial Prosperity and Productivity Group. Everywhere you can find me at Profit in Daily. That's Twitter, Facebook, IG. Yes, I changed from Island Girl Hustle. For those who that's what I used to do.
Mhm.
It's still there, but I've changed the name. So at Profit in Daily because I've listened to so many groups I'm in, and this is the thing. I'm not selling, I'm not selling, I'm not selling, I'm not selling. And you have to help people where they are. Because I can talk about the hustle all the time, but the money part, when people recognize, and just for the first month of this year, I've dealt with so many clients who this is the big issue. January hit
Mhm.
them, and and I don't want them to end the end of the year like that. So that's where we're doing a lot of focusing on that. And in the spirit of all of that, I decided to change it, Profiting Daily, so you can understand. So everywhere at Profiting Daily.
There you go. All right, guys. So if you're looking for Coach Caren, look for her under Profiting Daily. You can find her on Facebook under Caren Fern,
Yes.
as well as Profiting Daily. And so with that, we want to remind you that tomorrow is what, Thursday?
Thursday, ready?
Happy Healthy Habits with Robin Shimizu and friends. And of
Yeah.
course, on Friday, Biz Chicks Talks Tech in English. So don't be scared. So we encourage you to tune in. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Periscope. So at Biz Chicks. Please wade into the conversation. We love it. We want to thank you for joining and spending this time with us today. And for those of you watching on the replay, we just want to give you a shout out and say, hey.
Hey.
Welcome, welcome. And we hope to see you tomorrow as well. So with that, Coach, I just want to thank you again. You always bring great conversation to us and explain things to us in English, because I'm just not about convoluted stuff. Biz Chicks is all about making things uncomplicated and easy to do and apply. So thank you again for simplifying sales for us and what goes on in our minds. With that, we'll see you tomorrow. And we want to remind you, don't forget to go to the front of your own line. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, hold on.